Welcome to the deep dive. Ever stop to think, really think, about the hidden bits inside your car, the systems working away, keeping us safe every day on the road? We're talking about something absolutely fundamental, how vehicles actually, stop. So today, our deep dive is all about the global market for brake actuating systems. These are the crucial technologies, could be hydraulics, could be advanced electronics, that turn that press on the pedal into a safe stop. Now, all our insights, all the figures we'll be talking about, they come straight from the Global Brake Actuating Systems Market Outlook 2021-2033 Insights. That's all sourced from cognitive market research. Our mission today, pretty simple. Unpack this specific, vital market. We want to pull out the most important bits of knowledge, get a handle on the global dynamics, and see how things look country by country. And, well, you might be surprised just how big and how fast this sector is growing. Okay, let's unpack this. Expert, the report kicks off with some pretty compelling numbers, doesn't it? What's the big picture here?
Yeah, it really does. What's fascinating, I think, is that we're looking at a market valued at just over $9.1 billion globally back in 2021. And the projections show significant growth. We'll be digging into forecasts stretching right out to 2033. We're seeing a compound annual growth rate, the CAGR, of nearly 4.4% globally. That's pretty robust. And if you connect that to the wider world, well, it just highlights how much our transport systems are constantly evolving, right? And the huge, unwavering demand for vehicle safety. This isn't some small niche market. It's absolutely foundational.
Right, 4.4% globally. So what does this all mean looking ahead? We've glanced at the market, and it definitely seems like a steady climb upwards. You mentioned that starting point, over $9.1 billion in 2021, heading towards what? $15.3 billion by 2033? That's quite a jump.
It is indeed an impressive target.
It really paints a picture of consistent demand. But I have to ask, is this demand driven by the same things everywhere? Or does the report show different catalysts, say, in developed markets compared to developing ones?
That's a really good question. The report does stress consistency overall because, well, safety is universal, isn't it? But yes, there are nuances in the drivers. So, for instance, in more developed markets, you often see growth linked to tech upgrades. Think about integrating advanced driver assistance systems, ADS. They rely heavily on sophisticated braking.
Ah, the smarter systems.
Exactly. Whereas in developing economies, it might be more about the sheer volume of new vehicles hitting the road. Plus, growing awareness among consumers about safety features.
Okay, that makes sense. And speaking of regions, here's where, for me, it gets really interesting. The Asia-Pacific region. It's clearly out front, not just in market size, but also the highest regional CAGR, almost 5%, you said?
So, right, nearly 5%, 4.963% to be precise, according to the source.
Wow. Driven by giants like China, Japan, and especially India. India boasting the highest CAGR in the whole region, over 5.8%.
Yes, 5.801% for India. It's a real standout.
So what is it about Asia-Pacific and India in particular? What's fueling that kind of dramatic growth there? Is it just volume?
It's more than just volume, although that's definitely part of it, a big part. The report really points towards rapidly changing regulations in many of these regions. They're pushing for stricter safety standards.
Oh, regulations. Okay.
Which naturally drives demand for more advanced brake actuating systems. And then you also have, especially in places like India, this burgeoning middle class. And consumers are becoming much more tech savvy, prioritizing modern vehicle tech, including, better safety. It pushes manufacturers to step up.
So it's a mix of regulation and consumer demand pulling in the same direction.
Precisely. A powerful combination.
And, while Asia-Pacific is leading the pack, the report shows strong performance pretty much everywhere else too, right? North America with the US, obviously, Europe, Germany, the UK playing big roles, and then significant growth in emerging markets too. South America, Middle East, Africa, countries like Brazil, Saudi Arabia, South Africa showing impressive gains. Can you maybe touch on what makes those emerging markets specifically interesting here, beyond just sort of general vehicle growth?
Absolutely. It's a good point because it's not monolithic. For these emerging markets, like you said, beyond just more cars being sold, the report often highlights things like infrastructure development, big road projects, for example, and also shifting consumer preferences, similar to Asia, but perhaps at a different stage. So take Brazil. You see increased vehicle production there. In the Middle East, Saudi Arabia is a good example. There's significant government investment in infrastructure, plus a growing automotive aftermarket, which also boosts demand for parts like these.
Right, the replacement market too.
Exactly. And then South Africa, it's kind of a blend. New vehicle sales, yes, but also maintaining a large existing fleet of vehicles on the road, That sustains the market too.
So it really shows how diverse the growth drivers can be even within this one specific, brake system market.
It really does. Different paths leading to overall growth.
Okay, so let's try and recap this deep dive then. We looked into the global brake actuating systems market. What really stands out is that clear, steady upward path. We saw the value, over $9.1 billion back in 2021, projected to hit an impressive, $15.3 billion by 2033.
That's the figure.
It really is a story of consistent, growing demand. We see it in developed economies, we see it in developing ones. And the Asia-Pacific region, well, it's clearly leading the charge. Not just the biggest market, but also the fastest growing overall at nearly 5% CAGR, driven by China, Japan, and especially India, with its almost 6% growth rate.
Quite something.
Yeah. And while Asia-Pacific leads, we've seen solid performance everywhere. North America, Europe, and those really dynamic emerging markets we just talked about.
Right. And this consistent growth, it does beg the question, why? Why this unwavering upward trend for brake systems? If you look at the bigger picture, the source material is pretty clear on this. It's deeply, intrinsically tied to how transportation and mobility itself are evolving.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, that ever-increasing demand for vehicle safety, that's huge. Plus, the continuous innovation in the braking technology itself that keeps pushing forward.
So it's safety, but also tech evolution.
Yeah, exactly. And think about it for a moment. These systems, you don't really see them, do you? They're hidden away. But they aren't just about stopping a car. They're like a fundamental pillar of modern mobility and safety. Absolutely crucial for every trip we take.
That's a great way to put it, a hidden pillar.
Yeah, and consider how advancements right here in this area will keep shaping our daily commutes, the cars we actually drive, even our whole idea of what safe travel means in the future. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? What new innovations are just around the corner in this, seemingly established market? And how will they impact the world we live in? Something to think about.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're your shortcut to getting smart about, complex stuff.
And today, we're diving into something maybe you don't think about much, but it's absolutely vital for every single vehicle out there.
That's right. The brake actuating systems market, it's evolving incredibly fast.
Yeah, and we're drawing our insights today mainly from cognitive market research. They're a really solid source for this kind of market intelligence.
Now, I know brake actuating systems might sound a bit technical.
A little bit, maybe.
But stick with us. By the end of this deep dive, you'll really get how these systems affect safety, performance.
And honestly, the whole future of driving, it's pretty fundamental.
Okay, so let's get into it. What's really pushing this market forward? What are the big growth drivers here?
Well, first off, it's pretty straightforward, just the sheer number of vehicles being made.
Right.
You've got booming auto manufacturing in places like India, China, Brazil. It's huge.
And that's cars and trucks, right?
Exactly. Passenger cars, commercial vehicles, the works.
Mm-hmm.
And, the more vehicles there are globally.
The more brakes you need.
Precisely. More new systems, but also more replacement parts, more demand for upgrades to the newer tech. It just builds and builds.
Right, okay. So more vehicles, more brakes. Simple logic. But I get the feeling it's not just about volume. Safety seems like a massive factor, too.
Yeah, absolutely. That's probably the next biggest piece. Governments and regulators worldwide are stepping in.
How so?
Well, across North America, Europe, Asia Pacific,
Mm-hmm.
they're not just suggesting, they're mandating advanced braking systems.
Yeah, okay. Like what kind of systems?
Think ABS anti-lock braking systems or ESC, electronic stability control, and increasingly AEB, that's automated emergency braking.
Right, I've heard of those.
Yeah, and they're moving from being like optional extras to standard equipment.
Yeah.
Automakers basically have to put high-performance brake actuation systems in.
Just to meet the basic safety rules.
Exactly. It's becoming non-negotiable in many key markets.
Okay, and looking ahead, two huge shifts are happening. Electric vehicles and those advanced driver assistance systems, ADS.
Yeah.
How are EVs and ADAS really changing what we need from brakes, it feels like?
Yeah.
Like a different level of complexity is needed.
You've hit it exactly. It's a fundamental shift. With an EV, you're doing regenerative braking, right? Capturing energy back.
Yeah.
That needs super precise electronic control to blend it smoothly with the regular friction brakes and ADAS features.
Like adaptive cruise control or emergency braking.
Yeah. Those need the brakes to react instantly, sometimes without you even touching the pedal.
Yeah.
They need to be digitally controlled, super responsive.
So the old hydraulic systems, they can't really keep up with that.
Not with the same level of precision or speed, no. It really demands these newer electronically controlled systems. They're just smarter.
Okay, so those are some powerful accelerators. But nothing's ever that simple, right?
Yeah.
Every market has its hurdles. What are the brakes, so to speak, on this market's growth?
Yeah, good one. Well, cognitive market research points pretty clearly to the high costs involved, development and integration costs.
So it's expensive to make this stuff.
Very. Think about the advanced sensors, the complex software algorithms, all the electronics. It's not cheap.
And the testing must be intense.
Oh, incredibly rigorous, especially for safety-critical systems. So, yeah, developing and deploying these, particularly in markets where people are very price-conscious, it's a challenge.
That makes sense. High tech often means high cost initially. But what about after the car is sold? Once these fancy systems are out there, what happens when they need fixing?
That's the next big issue, yeah, the aftermarket and maintenance side.
How so?
Well, these sophisticated electronic braking systems, they're not like the old hydraulic ones your local mechanic might be used to.
Right.
You need technicians with specific skills, specialized diagnostic computers, the right parts.
And that infrastructure isn't everywhere.
Not yet,
Okay.
especially in regions more familiar with traditional systems.
Yeah.
So, yeah, finding qualified repair shops, getting the right parts, it can be a real headache and slows down wider adoption. It creates friction, you know.
Yeah, I can see that. A skills gap, almost. And besides the tech itself, this industry, like so many others, has been hit by, well, outside forces, right? Things totally out of their control.
Absolutely. We're still feeling the effects of semiconductor shortages.
Still, wow.
Yeah, it lingers. Plus, geopolitical issues, supply chain delays from the pandemic.
Yeah.
It all ripples through.
So getting the actual components can be tough.
Exactly. These disruptions affect the availability of critical electronic bits, mechanical parts. It messes with production schedules, delivery times. It's a constant juggling act for manufacturers.
Okay, so cost, maintenance, supply chains, definite challenges. But despite all that, there must be some really cool stuff happening, some exciting trends shaping the future.
Oh, for sure. It's definitely not all doom and gloom. One of the biggest transformative trends is the move towards brake-by-wire.
Brake-by-wire. Okay, what does that mean practically?
It means getting rid of the direct hydraulic connection between your brake pedal and the brakes themselves.
Really? So how does it work?
When you press the pedal, it sends an electronic signal. A computer interprets that signal and tells actuators at each wheel exactly how much braking force to apply.
Wow. So it's all electronic signals?
Pretty much. The benefits are huge. It's lighter, potentially faster response times, and it integrates perfectly with autonomous driving systems and regenerative braking in EVs.
Because it's all digital control anyway.
Exactly. Total game changer for vehicle control.
Okay, that's fascinating. And speaking of digital, you mentioned smarter systems. It sounds like brakes are becoming more connected too, like with telematics and the Internet of Things.
Yes, definitely. That integration is another key trend.
What does that let you do?
Well, imagine your brake system diagnosing itself in real time, or predicting when maintenance might be needed before something fails.
Predictive maintenance for brakes.
Yeah. And optimizing performance based on data. For, say, commercial fleets, trucks, buses, this is massive.
Why for fleets specifically?
Better safety, obviously, but also less downtime for repairs, which saves a lot of money. It's about making the whole operation more efficient and safer through data.
Smart brakes. And finally, there's always the environmental angle these days. How are brake systems fitting into that bigger picture of sustainability?
That's the third big trend, a real emphasis on sustainability and using lightweight materials.
Like what kind of materials?
Manufacturers are increasingly using things like aluminum alloys, different composite materials, even recyclable polymers for brake components.
Okay, and why? Just to be green?
Well, that's part of it, meeting environmental regulations. But it's also about performance. Lighter components mean less overall vehicle weight.
Which means better fuel efficiency.
Or longer range for EVs,
Yeah, right.
exactly. So it's a win-win. Helps meet emissions targets and improves vehicle performance.
So putting it all together, from safety rules pushing for advanced tech to EVs demanding new kinds of control to these cool future trends like brake-by-wire and lightweighting, it's clear this isn't just a simple component anymore.
Not at all.
The brake actuating systems market is, well, it's really complex and changing fast. Yes, there are challenges, costs, supply chains, but the direction seems clear.
Yeah, the push towards EVs, autonomous driving, smart infrastructure, it's all driving innovation in braking like never before.
It really underlines how these systems are fundamental to our vehicles are heading safer, smarter, more efficient.
It really is. And maybe next time you're driving, just, take a second to think about what's happening when you press that pedal.
Yeah.
There's this incredibly complex, increasingly intelligent system working silently, constantly evolving, just to make sure you stop safely. It's kind of amazing when you consider how much relies on these often overlooked parts. They're becoming part of the car's brain, in a way.
A silent guardian getting smarter all the time. That's a great way to put it.
Hmm.
Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into brake actuating systems.
My pleasure.
We hope you feel a bit more clued in and maybe even more curious about all the hidden tech that surrounds us. Until next time, stay informed and stay curious.